What up, everyone, and welcome back to the show today. So, what I want to talk to you guys about in this episode is the future of Barcelona because before you know it, we're going to be in December, and then before you know it again, it's going to be 2025. We're halfway through the season, and I think it's good to kind of have these conversations and really analyze this Barcelona squad and what do they need to address, what do they need to fix, what players do they need to replace, if any. So, we're going to break that down, and I'll probably spend a majority of the video breaking down the attacking situation for Barcelona and available options. And then depending on how long I end up rambling for, I'll probably break down what Barcelona could do from a midfield and defensive standpoint. But before I jump into the bulk of the video, please, I want you guys to comment as much as you guys can if you're a fan of Barcelona or if you're not. I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say because there's so many names that are being thrown into the mix, not even just for Barcelona, but just free transfers and other players from other clubs going to potential new teams. Like, for example, Trent Alexander-Arnold's been a transfer rumor, potentially to Real Madrid. Barcelona's been in the mix, and even Alphonso Davies is a rumor to Barca as of lately, too. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts, so comment them down below. If you guys enjoy the video, drop me a like. I'd appreciate that. But let's jump in and discuss this attacking situation and the needs of Barcelona moving forward for next year and so on. So as of right now, you could say that the only thing Barcelona needs to address is their defense, and I would agree, but Araujo and Christensen will be coming back, and I think that's going to work wonders for the team, and ultimately I'm not too concerned. So at this moment, the only person that I think Barcelona has to really actively look at pursuing to replace is Lewandowski. And again, having a prolific season at this point could be the highest goal scorer in Europe this season. And again, I'm not saying even if they keep him next season, find someone that's going to start over. I'm just saying they do need to find someone. And I think next season might be the perfect situation. So I think the three players that are currently available that I'm hearing a lot about, and I'm not saying they're all realistic, but it's Viktor Gyokeres as of lately, Jonathan David even, and Erling Haaland. I think each one, you kind of know what you're getting. You're getting a very athletic and strong goal scorer. And I think out of the three, I would say Jonathan David is for sure the weakest, but he's probably the cheapest. But Barcelona has developed this perfect system now where I actually don't think they need this like perfect striker or the best striker in the world to be successful because they already have so many great things in place and players that can support them that ultimately I just think they need someone that can score, and all three of those can do the job well. So hypothetically, Barcelona signs any of them, I'm happy. Now, Viktor Gyokeres and Erling Haaland. Funny enough, Erling Haaland's actually a few years younger than Gyokeres. Gyokeres is 26. I haven't really watched too much of Viktor Gyokeres, to be honest. I don't really watch Sporting. I watch all Barca, watch a lot of Madrid, Bayern, City, Liverpool. But I did recently just watch the Sporting City game, and then I also watched tons of his highlights just in general. And I will say, he's 6'2". He's not the fastest guy in the world. I'd say Erling Haaland is definitely faster. But he provides this, like, more... I don't want to say he is like this fantastic combination player, but he definitely combines better and works well with his teammates better than Erling Haaland does with his. And I think he's more technically gifted and more skilled than Erling Haaland. And he's definitely more technically gifted and skilled than Lewandowski is right now. I'm not saying when Louis was in his prime. And I will say he is a prolific goal scorer, Gyökeres. I think he has really good situational awareness, and the goals he scores, they're just all perfectly placed, and he's super calm in front of the net and composed. And I think that's super important. I think he would thrive in this environment, to be completely honest. And he's not going to be as expensive as Erling Haaland. Some of the concerns that I've been hearing from other people, now I personally don't have this concern, is he hasn't really played at the top level at a big club. And yeah, that might be true, but right now, so again, it's the Portuguese league, but right now in the Champions League, Viktor Gyokeres has 5 goals, and in the Portuguese league, he has 16 goals. He has literally over 20 goals, and it's November. So I don't care what team you play for. If you can score, you can score. And if you can score with Sporting, you can score against Man City with that team, you can score for Barcelona. So that doesn't concern me in the slightest. Now, Erling Haaland, the one thing I'll say is he's going to cost a lot. Over 150 million, I think, easily. And I will say it will pay off dividends because the merch sales, the kit sales, jerseys, licensing, media attention, viewership, stadium, every single match that they play is going to be sold out. And then obviously with Mbappe at Madrid, you know, it makes sense to an extent, but it's a big upfront investment. Do they want to make it? I don't know. Erling Haaland as a footballer, I'm not a fan. I mean, I don't dislike the guy. He's a prolific goal scorer and he's extremely acrobatic and athletic, but I just Barcelona, yes, we've kind of shifted a little bit away from tiki-taka, but we have that ingrained in our DNA. And we still pride ourselves and these players on their individualistic performances and their individualism in general, how incredible they are and skilled, like Pedri and Gavi and Lamine Yamal and etc. They can create something out of nothing, which Viktor Gyokeres can do. Erling Haaland, he can't. So again, it's not a huge concern because the supporting cast is incredible for Erling Haaland, and the system would be great. Hopefully, Flick stays and extends with Barca for an extra few years. I would hope. So again, I don't think it's the biggest concern, but it does irritate me that someone coming to Barcelona really isn't good with the ball, can't really combine, and isn't really a good dribbler in the slightest. So I do have that issue with Holland. So again, I'm happy if they signed any of them. I kind of want to sign Gyökeres, so it's not like, oh, Barcelona has to sign the best striker in the world to win the Champions League. It would be cool to kind of gravitate away from that, kind of how Real Madrid, oh, we have to have, Vinicius and Bellingham and Mbappe and all these other players. I just think that would be kind of cool to kind of get away from that. But let me know what you guys think about these three strikers, who you guys would rather have down below. So now I think the luxury signings would be Nico or Leao. I don't want Leao. Overrated, overpriced. He's not worth the hype. And like, for example, he had a pretty good match against Madrid the other day, but I don't want it. And Nico, I would prefer over, but we're at the point now where I think if you sign a left winger, it's kind of disrespecting Rafinha because he's proved it already. I mean, unless something crazy happens for the rest of the season, he's proven he's our captain. He's the starter for this team, and he's the left winger moving forward. And I think if you sign a left winger, I don't know if that's subtly saying that you don't see him having a longer future here, but I think it's nonchalantly or quietly saying that Rafinha, you're not the future. We want somebody else. So I think with respect to Rafinha, it is a tough call because you got to get rid of Ferran Torres, and I personally would like to get rid of Ansu Fati. And if that's the case, if you got rid of both of them, you do have to sign somebody else. But those two are too big a names to bring in to split time. Now there was the weird rumor about maybe Ferran Torres plus 15 million to Dortmund for Adeyemi. I'm all for that. That would be insane. That kid is incredibly special, so fast, and I think that's someone that is younger. You can develop him under Rafinha. They can split a little time, but Rafinha is ultimately going to play. But again, it would be hard to walk away from Nico Williams. So I'm kind of stuck, but I am devoted to Rafinha. I have respect to Rafinha. So right now, I'm cool with Barcelona not signing either of those players. Now, last but not least, I think obviously a defender is needed. Even with Christensen and Araujo coming back, I think Jonathan Tah could be a good signing. I actually think signing a right back might make more sense than a left back because I think if you were to sign Alphonso Davies, I don't necessarily know if that makes sense because if you sign him, it's like, do you not have a future with Balde? Because he needs to be a better defender, but he's still extremely young and has a lot to learn. So I don't know if Davies is a necessity. And then I also don't know next season, if they would keep Inigo Martinez, would they keep Christensen? And then I think signing a right back could be nice because it could move Koundé and give him opportunities to play as a center back too. But he's been doing so well, it's like, is it worth it? But we really don't have a solid right back that can step in and replace him. I mean, Hector Fort can play both sides, but I think, like Jonathan Tah, if they could get him on a free, would be a perfect signing. And then briefly looking at the midfield, I'd probably sign a midfielder if they move off of Frankie de Jong, because at that point, you have two young players, well, really four young players in Bernal, Casado, Pedri, and Gavi. And quite frankly, Pedri, I'm still going to consider injury prone. We'll see if Gavi can stay healthy. And Bernal is going to be coming off the injury. Casado is playing so much where you want to limit his playing time a little bit so he doesn't get injured. And then Olmo is injury prone. So I think signing someone like a Kimmich would be a great signing because you need the depth and you need some established play and someone that can really step in with some experience and hold down this midfield. But ultimately, I think that's up to if they keep Frankie de Jong or not, which I'm not going to make an official statement on that until the end of the season because, I don't want to say, like, he had a good match against Madrid, not so great in the last match. So, again, he's still coming off the injury. We'll give him some time to develop a little more in the system and play time. But yeah, that one, I think we got to hold off for a couple more months to make an honest representation. But Louis, you got to replace him 100%. And then if you get rid of Frankie de Jong, you have to replace him and find another midfielder. And then it's tough. Which type of defender would you want? Center back, right or left? But I also think signing a defensive player would be beneficial for Barcelona. So those are the three signings that I would do. And then anything else, like an Adeyemi or a Nico or Leao, I think at that point it's just a luxury signing. So let me know what you guys think about this down below. I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. And if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like or subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all the support. And thanks for watching. If you guys stuck around this long, peace.